When you hear about the Kingdom Hearts series, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it the overly convoluted and complicated plot that even die-hard Kingdom Hearts fans can't explain? Is it the fact that Donald Duck doesn't heal you when you fucking need it the most? Do you think of how much of a disappointment Kingdom Hearts 3 was? Or do you think about reliving your favorite childhood experiences by seeing your favorite Disney characters? Although those answers are acceptable, the first thing a lot of people think of when it comes to Kingdom Hearts are the Keyblades. These key-shaped swords are integral to the whole lore of Kingdom Hearts and are a main driving force for the series. With there being so many Kingdom Hearts games, naturally there are going to be a lot of Keyblades. So sit back while I tell you guys my top 10 favorite Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series. I'm mainly going to be ranking them based on appearance, plus I will talk about their abilities and their relevance to the plot and the lore and etc. So let's get this started. With that unnecessarily long intro done, let's get into the honorable mentions. Star Cluster, Lionheart, Pumpkinhead, Shooting Star, Star Seeker, Crystal Snow, Bond of Flame, Abyssal Tide, and last but not least, Two Become One. And with that done, let's get into the number 10 spot. At the number 10 spot, we got Way to the Dawn. When it comes to the Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series, I personally prefer ones that are more dark, intimidating, just look menacing and have a darker color scheme all around. Now, I'm a huge fan of the color scheme. The red, purple, and the white, it all meshes together so perfectly. Now, what also makes a good Keyblade is that it's a good representation of its wielder. This Keyblade does a perfect job symbolizing Riku's character arc. Throughout the Kingdom Hearts series, Riku has struggled with the darkness that resides within his heart. The angelic wing on the Keyblade is a good metaphor and good representation of Riku ascending from the darkness and into the light. What you're seeing is Riku's old Keyblade, Soul Eater, and Way to the Dawn has elements from Soul Eater, which does a great job emphasizing how Riku has found the light and left the darkness behind. And with that said, let's get into the number 9 spot. There is no talking about iconic or goated Keyblades without talking about the Kingdom Key. It is the staple Keyblade. It is arguably, not even arguably, the most iconic Keyblade within the Kingdom Hearts series. It is wielded by our main man Sora himself, and not just Sora, also Roxas and Xion. I can see people making the argument saying that this Keyblade didn't age that well and that its design is just outdated, but I disagree with that. I say to this day, this Keyblade is still really good. Like, yeah, its design is pretty basic, but there's nothing wrong with basic. Basic can be really good. Like, I just really like the golden handle, the Mickey Mouse charm, and I just love how the teeth are shaped like a crown. It was the very first Keyblade to appear in the Kingdom Hearts series, and it set the precedent for other Keyblades to come. And with that said, let's get into the number 8 spot. When it comes to the Birth by Sleep trio, Aqua is definitely my favorite one, so I might be biased for putting her Keyblade at the number 8 spot. I really do like the color scheme of Rainfell, and I really like the shade of blue that it has on it, plus it meshes so well with white and gray. But the one thing I really like about this Keyblade is the name. Rainfell is such a great name for any weapon. Now for those who don't know, Aqua is how you say water in Latin, so rain and aqua, it's a match made in heaven. And I really love the jagged edges on the weapon. I don't really know why, but for some reason jagged edges on weapons just really do it for me. Not to mention, I really love how slender the Keyblade is. It just looks very elegant and graceful, just like Aqua does. And with that said, we're gonna get into the number 7 spot. Up next, we got the Guardian Soul Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts 2. For those who don't know, this Keyblade is tied to Auron from Final Fantasy X. And y'all know how I said I was biased for putting Aqua's Keyblade because she's my favorite character from Birth by Sleep? I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely biased for putting this Keyblade on here because Auron was my favorite character from Final Fantasy X. And where do I even begin in terms of design with this Keyblade? The red fits so perfectly, it matches the same color as Auron's jacket. Now this Keyblade does a great job of resembling Auron itself. As you can see, the keychain has a jug of sake on it. And not to mention, the name is amazing and reflects Auron perfectly. In Final Fantasy X, Auron was a guardian. His character arc in Kingdom Hearts 2 revolves around him getting his soul back, so the name is kind of a pun. So you meet Auron in Olympus Coliseum in Kingdom Hearts 2, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, Hades tasks Auron with killing Hercules. But because Auron is Auron, he says fuck that and decides to do his own thing. And not to mention, Auron says one of the greatest lines in video game history that I feel is not talked about.
This is my story, and you're not part of it.
You cannot tell me that line was not amazing and delivered so perfectly. Now let's talk about Guardian Soul's abilities in battle. Guardian Soul has the 3rd highest damage in Kingdom Hearts 2. Guardian Soul has really good reach and its ability Reaction Boost is really good too. Reaction Boost increases the strength of reaction commands by 50%. So yeah, great design, great abilities, great backstory and lore is what lands Guardian Soul at the number 7 spot. And with that said, let's go into the number 6 spot. The Keyblade taking the number 6 spot is the Oathkeeper Keyblade. The design of this Keyblade is very angelic and majestic. As you can see, the two handguards are angelic wings. Like many other Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series, this Keyblade makes multiple appearances, but its most relevant appearance is in the first Kingdom Hearts game. The way you obtain it is what makes this Keyblade so unique. You get this Keyblade by talking to KHIII in the secret waterway in Twilight Town after rescuing her from Hollow Bastion. When you meet KHIII in the secret waterway, she gives you her charm, which you can see is the keychain for the Keyblade. Now what I really like about this Keyblade other than the design is how symbolic it is of Sora and KHIII's bond. When KHIII gives you her charm, she says to bring it back to her, and she also says that no matter what Sora goes through, KHIII will always be there for him, thus solidifying his oath to KHIII, his oath to protect her and bring her charm back. And take a look at the teeth on the Keyblade Oathkeeper. You may not know this, but the teeth is actually shaped like the kanji Hikaru, which means light. Its abilities in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are pretty good. In Kingdom Hearts 1, it increases your magic and summoning power, and it can also deal consecutive critical blows. In Kingdom Hearts 2, it increases your magic and also increases the duration of your drive forms, which makes it really good to level up said drive forms. And with that done, let's get into the number 5 spot. The Keyblade taking the number 5 spot on this list is the Skull Noise Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Now the design of the Keyblade is a reference to the game The World Ends With You. Now I'm going to be honest with y'all, I never played that game before and I don't really know much about it. And in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, characters from The World Ends With You appear in that game. Just looking at the art style of The World Ends With You, I feel like this Keyblade does a great job replicating that art style. The one thing that really stands out to me on this Keyblade is the blade itself. The jagged black edges, it just looks very menacing and intimidating. And not to mention, I really like how different design elements of the Keyblade have references to other characters. For example, you got Neku's headphones, you got the skull that appears on Beat's beanie, and the keychain is Shiki's cat doll. Now let's talk about the name of the Keyblade. The skull comes from the fact that skulls are a very common visual element within The World Ends With You, and the noise comes from the name of the enemies who are named, well, Noise. Overall, a really solid design and one of my favorite Keyblades from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And now we move on to the number 4 spot. I'm so happy we made it to this spot because Void Gear is one of my favorite Keyblades, if you couldn't tell. Now for those who don't know, it's wielded by Vanitas, right? And this Keyblade just perfectly encapsulates Vanitas' character and just him as a whole. Remember how I said a good Keyblade reflects its wielder? Yeah, this Keyblade does that perfectly. I love the placement of the gears and the chains on it, and I also really like the evil eyes that it has on it. And the color scheme, what do I really need to say about it? Red, gray, black, blue, all fits together so perfectly. I've stated before that I'm more of a fan of Keyblades that are dark and menacing and intimidating, and this Keyblade just does all that perfectly. Then the Kingdom Hearts series, Vanitas is just pure evil, and this Keyblade itself just has the pure evil aesthetic to it. Now the name of the Keyblade is a perfect reflection of Vanitas himself. Allow me to explain. The word void means empty, and Vanitas' name is the Latin word for vanity, which also means empty. And not to mention, Vanitas was created from the darkness that resides within Ventus' heart. The Void Gear Keyblade perfectly mirrors Vanitas' whole theme of being empty and hollow. With that done, on to the number 3 spot. The Ultima weapon has had many incarnations throughout Kingdom Hearts, but if I'm being honest, my favorite one is the one from Kingdom Hearts 3. Just look at it. Now, the thing I like about the Ultima weapons in Kingdom Hearts is that it's the embodiment of hard work paying off. What I mean by that is that they're a pain in the ass to get, but the reward is very worth it. What I mean by that is that you gotta find the right recipe, you gotta find different materials, and keep in mind, a lot of these materials are very rare and hard to find. But like I said, it's worth it because you end up getting one of the best, if not the best weapon in the entire game. Now compared to prior Kingdom Hearts games, the Ultima weapon has always had a blue color scheme to it, but Kingdom Hearts 3 says fuck that and just went all out. In Kingdom Hearts 3, as you can see, the Ultima weapon has a silver, red, and gray color scheme to it, and I love it. Aside from the color scheme, I just like the design of it as a whole. All the spikes, all the jagged edges, it looks like only few can wield this Keyblade, only few could have this sort of power. Like if I were to imagine an Ultima weapon, the strongest weapon in the game, it would definitely look something like this. Now one of my biggest problems with Kingdom Hearts 3 is that the Keyblade designs, a lot of them were just ugly. Like I don't know how they dropped the ball with Kingdom Hearts 3. And it's sad because in the prior games, the Keyblades looked amazing, like the Keyblades had amazing designs, but for some reason, a lot of the Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts 3, the designs just suck. I'm looking at you, Braveheart. But the Ultima weapon in Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of the standouts, and with that said, let's go on to the number 2 spot. If you ask a Kingdom Hearts fan what's one of their favorite Keyblades of all time, chances are it's gonna be No Name. Like, do I even really need to talk about the design of the Keyblade? Just look at how evil and intimidating it looks. Like, just look at it. It has a goat at the bottom of the blade, it has demonic wings for the handguard, has the evil eye on it, and just look at the dark color scheme that it has to it. And not to mention, it's the Keyblade of the big bad man himself, Xehanort, and this is the perfect Keyblade for someone as evil and just menacing as Xehanort. If you couldn't tell, I'm a huge fan of the color black, and that's exactly why a lot of the Keyblades on this list are ones that have black color schemes to them, or some sort of dark color scheme. Now there is a lot of lore behind this Keyblade, but I'm not really going to go over it because I feel like this video will be way too long. But for those who don't know, this Keyblade was actually passed down to Xehanort. It's been passed down for generations and is one of the oldest surviving Keyblades. Like, out of all the Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series, this one right here is the one I would not want to be hit with, because this looks like it'll do some damage. An evil Keyblade for an evil old man. And with that said, we're going to go into the number 1 spot. At the number 1 spot, we got the Oblivion Keyblade. Now this right here is my favorite Keyblade of all time, if you couldn't tell. One thing I recently learned about this Keyblade is that the teeth are actually shaped like the kanji Yami, which means darkness. Before I get into the design of the Keyblade, I want to talk about the symbolism behind it. The Oblivion Keyblade is symbolic of forgetting memories of the past. For one, the word Oblivion means to forget things or to be unaware of something. And in the game Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, Sora had forgotten his memories. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about the design of the Keyblade. Now, it bears a striking resemblance to the Kingdom Key Keyblade, except this one looks a lot more dark and intimidating. Its keychain consists of the crown that Sora wears on his necklace, and also along the blade you can see a bunch of chains on it. Really loving the dark color scheme on it. It's as if the Kingdom Key and the Heartless did a fusion dance, and this is the result of it. The one thing I find funny about the Oblivion Keyblade is that it can be wielded by the heroes in the Kingdom Hearts series. You know, those who use light to fight the darkness. And not only does this Keyblade have a dark design, it has a lot of dark symbolism to it. So yeah, great design, great symbolism, W Keyblade. So that's it, that's going to be the end of this video. Those are my top 10 favorite Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series. Now my favorite Keyblades have changed over the years, but the one thing that will never change is Oblivion being my favorite Keyblade of all time. As stated, the Keyblades are integral to the entire lore of Kingdom Hearts and the driving force for the series. Who would have thought that a key-shaped sword would have such an impact on gaming? I've considered doing my top 10 least favorite Keyblades, because I can think of plenty of Keyblades that I absolutely cannot stand. Either because they're ugly, they're useless, etc. Let me know what your top 10 favorite Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series are. And with that said, I'm going to call it a night and end the video right here. My top 10 favorite Keyblades in the Kingdom Hearts series. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow my socials that are in the description as well. I'm going to be off this, y'all take care, have a good one, and I'll see y'all next time.